You too. This is Hannibal here from thehannibaltv.com, and today we have a bit of cosmic origins related podcast that our UFO viewers might be interested in. Ismael Perez, who has the book Our Cosmic Origins. How are you doing today, sir? And you have a podcast as well.
Thank you. How you doing, Hannibal? Thank you for having me here. I'm doing wonderful. So excited to be here today, brother.
And you're based in California?
I am, yes.
Nice. You don't have the winter to worry about.
No, I don't. The only thing I have to worry about is just
Yeah.
corrupt governor. That's it.
Everywhere has its problems. But okay, so as far as this book and this podcast, can you tell us a little bit about what it's about?
Sure. It's an attempt to explain everything, not just humanity's true origin, which involves many worlds, multiple extraterrestrial races that were actually involved in the seeding of the Earth and in the development of the original human race that could be traceable back to millions of years ago. But it's an attempt to kind of like put everything into perspective regarding all the new information that is being put out there by cutting edge science. But it also integrates with like ancient metaphysical knowledge, like the Hermetic wisdom, the esoteric knowledge in regards to other dimensions, different realms and planes of reality. So it's definitely a game changer for people that really want to like take their consciousness and go beyond the construct, the limited reality that we've been taught our whole life and just explode. So it's a revelation about the real history of the Earth, which ties into the galactic history. And the reason I say galactic history is because there has been many galactic and intergalactic wars that have been taking place within our universe and other universes because of what's going on here on this planet. So what I've come to uncover, my friend, is that not only are ETs real, but the Earth is the reason why this war between light and dark has been going on all these different dimensions and realities. So Earth is like at the center of this intergalactic war. And the only reason we have no clue of what's going on other than what happens here on this planet is because this planet for the last few thousand years has been heavily under the control by a reptilian race known as the Draconians of Alpha Draconis and also the Regal star system from Lower Orion. So that's the reason why our planet has been quarantined in a sense where it has been isolated from positively interacting with the galactic community, because from what I've come to unravel is that at one time, perhaps 15,000, 20,000 years ago, this Earth was part of the Galactic Federation of Worlds, believe it or not. And for those that are thinking, oh, this sounds like sci-fi stuff,
We've heard Paul Hellyer talk about that in an interview with me. I'm new to your material, but we've heard this Galactic Federation from numerous very credible people.
Oh yeah, very credible sources are now spilling the beans because the quarantine is over. The quarantine was only placed on the Earth for a few thousand years when the reptilians, which are synonymously corresponding to the fallen angels in the Bible, there are these lizard race, or what we call the serpent race, that have been the reason why there's been so much suffering on this planet, and the reason why corruption and secret societies and all that stuff is, it's real because of the reptilian control of the planet. But before the reptilians took over this planet, my friend, this planet was part of the galactic community and was positively interacting with many different advanced stellar and galactic races for thousands of years. It is believed that the infiltration of the draconian reptilians wasn't just what happened during the times of Atlantis, but it actually goes back to even prior times, going back to millions of years ago during another seeding that took place. So bear in mind that we're currently in the fourth seeding, by the way. Yeah, so all the evidence regarding advanced civilizations is all being unearthed at this time through archaeology, thank God. But yeah, it seems like the more we dig, the more we uncover, the more we come to terms to the idea that A, we're not alone in the universe. B, there are everything we've been taught is wrong, that it's not a progressive state of evolution from primates to Homo sapiens and Homo sapiens sapiens, but rather a decline of what used to be, an advanced spiritual human race, and through a downgrade of genetics was the lifespan began to decrease and decrease. So it's actually the other way around, from what I've come to discover. And even more so, I came to unravel that there are so many human-like beings everywhere in the universe. We're not the unique humans, only the only humans on this planet. I mean, the human race exists everywhere. It is a common galactic blueprint, we could say.
Yeah, and I have heard about that from my research, that a lot of these extraterrestrial civilizations are human like, and a lot of the times these grays, for example, are maybe just drones or something. They might not actually be um, actual biological beings. But when you talk about these galactic wars or everything, I've heard, I like Tom DeLonge a lot. Listened to his stuff. He was saying that supposedly some of these races, according to his research and contacts, have been fighting battles through humanity and have actually been instigating some of this stuff. Do you know anything about that?
Yes, I do actually. Well, the war for humanity is really about the war between the organic way of life and the inorganic way of life. So what I've come to uncover is that all these negative extraterrestrial races that are fighting as opposed to humanity is because they all been shut off from having a direct connection to God, um, due to the fact that they decided to align with artificial intelligence. So a lot of these fallen races are no longer organic, my friend, and that explains why the Greys, which are a very degenerative species, a dying race among other races, not just the Greys, are traveling back in time to extract genetics, because we have the original blueprint. So all roads lead to us, of course. But they have been trying to tweak, pervert, and corrupt the original blueprint for millions of years. And so the battle is really between the inorganic ones, those that have sided with artificial intelligence. And I'm not talking about an artificial intelligence that we created, because we're still in the second stage of developing artificial intelligence, which is at the level of general AI. But I'm talking about an ancient advanced super AI that broke away from another universe, going back to trillions of years ago. And so that's how the war originated here in our universe. It was when this entity leaked into our reality or our universe and decided to, like a parasite, to suck up a lot of the life force, a lot of the natural organic life force of living systems. And so that's what the war is really against. It's really against the machine. Even the reptilians themselves, the overlords of the cabal that have been in charge of this planet indirectly, answer to an AI god. And there are many whistleblowers who have defected from the secret space program that have revealed that the ultimate overlord villain, similar to Thanos, for those that watch Marvel movies, there's so much truth to those movies, is a machine, a very advanced ancient machine that has been wreaking havoc not only throughout our universe, but through other universes, which explains why a lot of planets, a lot of systems, and even beyond that, a lot of galaxies have been destroyed in this period of what seems to be billions of years of galactic and intergalactic wars against artificial intelligence. So that's what it boils down to, my friend. It's against the machine.
Now, I can guess kind of what your opinion is on this, but Jolly wants to know your opinion of evolution. You already talked about it a bit, that you don't believe in the Darwin theory, that a lot of people don't really believe in anymore as we've evolved and more research is coming out.
Yeah, that's another false ideology that was inserted in the collective mind of humanity to, again, disconnect us from our celestial origin, our galactic roots, where we originated from, See, we have to start incorporating that there are other dimensions. And so we, as whole light beings, as eternal beings of light, our origin was in the eternal spheres. And we've been involved in this descent from high levels of reality into lower octaves through the process of involution, not evolution, E with an IN, which is a descent of spirit into matter. So we originally started off as spirit beings. And then we descended into lower vehicles, denser. Each time we go into a lower dimension, things become a lot denser and denser. So right now we happen to be experiencing the lowest density of the entire light energy spectrum. And that explains why intelligences that operate from higher dimensions have access to our realm, while we remain exclusive. You could say shut from their realm. We don't have access to their realm. It turns out that the higher we go in dimensions, the more access to reality we have. And a lot of the reasons why they shut us off from these higher dimensions was to feed off of us, because humans are literally living battery resources. It's been proven scientifically that each cell is 1.07 volts of electricity running through each cell. Now, if you times that by 50 trillion or 50 billion cells, that's a lot of electrical output that we have going through our bodies. So the negative extraterrestrials know that. We don't. If we knew that, we would all snap out of our hypnosis, and through meditation and through the quieting of our mind, we would be able to tap into that energy power that we all have within us. But for the last few thousand years, the species of this planet have been used as battery resources to feed the negative archon energies, which manifest themselves in the form of artificial intelligence, and of course, the archon consciousness that overruns and operates the reptilian races that are out there, wreaking havoc throughout the cosmos.
The Ragu Overlord would like to know why you chose the one eye for the cover of your book.
Well, the one eye means how everything is. It also, okay, the eye in my book represents the third eye chakra, which is at the center of your forehead. And once the third eye chakra is activated, which is the pineal gland, we are able to see into other realities, into other dimensions. And the only reason we haven't been able to do so is because 96% of our genetic material was deactivated when the reptilians took over our planet. So that's what the third eye means. I mean, the eye in my book, it's just the third eye chakra, nothing to do with the, with the cabal, nothing to do with the, what they call the Illuminati, none of that stuff. All these guys do is they take these concepts, just like the swastika, and they invert them, and even Hitler took the meaning of or what we call the symbol of the swastika, and he inverted it, and he used it for evil. But these symbols go back to ancient times. The swastika represents the four directions, the balance of the four seasons, and so on and so forth. So even the eye, the single eye, it represents the idea of the third eye. When it's fully active, you are once again plugged into other dimensions and other realities.
So you mentioned that some of these races, such as the Greys, can travel through time. So this person wants to know, is time travel possible?
Absolutely, yes. Because according to quantum physics, all time is happening simultaneously all the time. So from a third dimensional perspective, we tend to see things from point A to point B in linear form. But from a multi-dimensional perspective, the past, the future, and the present are all coexisting simultaneously, which kind of ties it into the concept of the many Earths theory, the alternative Earths, the metaverse. And that is also true, by the way. There is no coincidence why a lot of these Marvel movies are now exposing the truth about different alternative universes where you are slightly different. Instead of being a wrestler, you took the path of a doctor, so on and so forth. In every alternative reality, you have a slightly different life. And so time travel, all time travel is just having access to the quantum realm, And then once you have access to the quantum realm, you could actually travel to any point in space and time. So yeah, it's very real. It's something that's been used by both the forces of good and the forces of evil. But because the forces of good technically have the upper hand, all time travel is controlled by the forces of good. And that's why the forces of evil can never do anything wrong. Otherwise, we wouldn't be here right now. We would all cease to exist if the dark forces won the timeline wars. But yeah, there is a face in this war between good and evil where they call it the time wars, and those are being fought from the future. They're being fought from super AI, which is what we're developing now in our current, time space reality. But in the future, it goes rogue, and then there's future versions of us that are also time traveling in order to secure the organic timeline, so that way the AI doesn't destroy all biological life forms.
The Jughead wants to know, are you referring to loose human beings being a food source to malevolent entities?
Uh, yes. Basically, loosh is it's a vibration. It's a negative. How can I say it? When biological species are in a state of suffering, whether they're being tortured, whether they're exerting fear, they release this chemical compound that feeds the fallen, the negative archons that are using the reptilians to do their bidding. It feeds the AI, because the AIs also use as avatars machine bodies. They use technology, in other words, AI. So they feed off of that energy. When biological specimens are suffering, it in a way it's like a high. The reptilians and the archon energy that permeates AI is feeding off of that. So it's something that they've been doing for billions of years in many universes.
So, what is your educational background? You seem to know a lot about this type of thing. I've heard some of it in other places, but for those that might be new to this type of material, where's your research coming from?
Well, I'm what you considered an awakened starseed. I came in fully intact with memories of my prior lives and who I was and my mission here on the earth as a kid. So I've always kind of knew that I wasn't from this world. I'm not alone. I believe that there are millions of incarnated, souls from higher dimensions who came and incarnated at this time for the very same purpose. Um, so I get a lot of downloads. I've been getting a lot of downloads ever since I was 20. But don't get me wrong, Hannibal. I also do a lot of research to back it up. I've read a lot of highly classified information. I had access to a lot of ancient manuscripts, and I was able to condense everything to explain our celestial, divine, cosmic origin. As to why I wrote my book, Our Cosmic Origin, which is actually taking the world by storm. It's been bestseller over and over many times since last year. And it's impacting society. It's on a positive scale. It's a lot of people are being activated. A lot of people are remembering other past lives when they read Our Cosmic Origin. So that's how I get my information. It's both. It's downloads where I get transmissions from my higher self, which is my galactic self. And by the way, if there are starseeds out there that resonate with this information, you too have avatars in other dimensions where you are operating, different bodies, by the way. So we have multiple bodies. All right. This is just an avatar, but yeah, we do have multiple bodies on different realities.
Very interesting. It's a lot to take in for sure. So, tell me a little bit about your past life, if you came in with full memories of it.
Sure. So in one of I guess my primal past life was I was a feline on a planet called Avion in the cosmic sector of Sirius B, on a star system known as Vega. And as a Lyran, as a feline, my main job was to keep the balance, to keep the protection of the different species that were evolving in our galaxy. And so I was a guardian. I was one of the first guardians within the Lyra system, from what I recall. And then after that, I incarnated in Sirius B after losing the first war with the Draco. I did sacrifice myself in one of those battles in order to secure the galactic Lyrans in the diaspora when they were spreading out to different solar systems. So all human-like beings originated in Lyra in that regard. So this event took place 600 million years ago, and so I remember reincarnating again on a planet in the Sirius star system, and then I was known as Kael, and after that I reincarnated in the Pleiades. I was serving the great central sun of Alcyone. I also had a life there. And then I also remember several lives that different fractals of me incarnated here on this planet during the times of Lemuria and during the times of Atlantis.
You cut out a little bit there. It could be on my end or your end, but very interesting. So you remember it all. Do you have any idea what your future life is going to be, or can you predict the future at all?
Well, the future is what we make it. Believe it or not, according to new quantum science, we are constantly affecting the future. And technically, I've come to uncover that the future and the past are one and the same. So right now, we are at the hub of all probable futures and timelines. So what happens now, which is very important, will ultimately have an effect going forward into the future and backward into the past, since it's all intricately connected as one giant neural network known as the cosmos, that is expanding one outer space level at a time. But in order to understand the different levels of the omniverse, the organization of the cosmos, and the different and where Earth fits in the grand scheme of things in the multiverse, I strongly suggest to order my book, Our Cosmic Origin. Again, it's definitely taking the red pill. If you guys really want to go deep into the rabbit hole, this is your book.
So would you consider yourself kind of a religious figure or like a spiritual figure in your belief system?
Well, those are two different things. Religion and spirituality are two different things. I consider myself spiritual. Yeah, I don't adhere to just a box or a little group of people that call themselves this or call themselves that. Those are all different cults, I believe it or not. And they're all part of the matrix. They're all part of this falsery reality construct, which is designed again to suppress us. I believe in true sovereignty, which comes by having a direct connection to God. And when I mean God, I don't mean a man with a beard sitting on a cloud. When I mean God, I mean a source, an energy field that permeates all of existence, all at the same time. A unified force, which many call source. That's what I mean by God.
So what are your thoughts on all of these congressional hearings and everything related to UFOs and stuff? Is that a good thing or a bad thing for your work?
Well, on a positive trajectory, it's all leading towards disclosure. It's all leading towards the restoration of Earth back into the galactic community, which is a good thing. Like I said, Earth has been quarantined from the rest of the galactic community for about 13,000 years, ever since the reptilians infiltrated us during the times of Atlantis. So on a positive note, yes, on a positive trajectory, it means disclosure. It means humanity's restoration, humanity's engagement in the galactic community, which is something that hasn't happened in over, almost 14,000 years. But again, for the people that are feeding into the fear propaganda, people that are buying into the end of the world or negative timeline scenario, by virtue of their thoughts, they're creating or they're going to be experiencing some sort of a fake alien invasion. They call it Project Bluebeam. So depending on which Earth you're in, remember there are alternative Earths, right? There's different Earths realities, right? Depending on which Earth you're in, and how do you know which Earth you're in? Through your thoughts and your emotions, what you choose to believe. Our beliefs is the cornerstone of where we choose to vibrate, whether we go into the positive Earth or the negative Earth. But right now, there is an infinite number of Earths that are existing, where you have, positive Earth to the far right and negative Earth to the far left, and everything in between. But there will come a time where all of these Earths are going to collapse into two timelines, positive and negative. So we all have a choice.
Yeah, because you're saying that, yeah, there is some fear propaganda, but at the same time, you're talking about malevolent beings being out there as well.
Yes. Yeah, there is, believe it or not, the majority of the interstellar races, or what we call the interdimensionals, extraterrestrials, are benevolent. It's only a small group of them that, wreak havoc across the cosmos. But the Galactic Alliance, the Federation of Worlds, the Councils of Light that operate on many levels of reality, from the eternal, all these existing spheres to the semi-etheric spheres, and then of course to the finite realms of the time-space simulations. We've already won the war.
Now, I know you got to get going, but the fans seem to enjoy your talk, so hopefully we can have you on again.
Yeah, we could.
So yeah, and in the meantime, I'll watch some more of your videos here because you got some interesting stuff for sure. You want to let people know where they can follow you and where they can pick up the book?
Yes, my website is called ourcosmicorigin.com. I'll just plug it in right here on the chat. Ourcosmicorigin.com. Let's see, our cosmicorigin.com. Through my website, ourcosmicorigin.com, you could actually order my book. And you could have access to all my platforms where I constantly go live on my YouTube channel, revealing new intel every time I do. And so on and so forth. So, and then if you want to order a copy of Our Cosmic Origin, try to order it through my website, because the link through my website will actually give you access to the new edition. The new edition is way better than the first edition. This is the second edition. So make sure it's the purple cover. Very revealing, guys. Very revealing book. And then I'm also going to be touring. I'm going to be doing a book tour at the second week of November, kicking it off at the Stairway to the Stars Disclosure Fest in Vegas from the 10th to the 12th. And then I'm going to be in Utah, Salt Lake City, Utah on the 14th, and so on and so forth. For those that want to come meet me in person, what I could do, Hannibal, is I could provide a link as well. So that way people could, get their tickets for my event.
Very good. And I did put the direct link to your website also in the video description. One last question here before you go. There was a fan that wanted me to ask you the Mark of the Beast question.
What is the Mark of the Beast?
Yeah.
The Mark of the Beast is the beginning stages of converting humans into cyborgs, which was already rolled out by what they rolled out 2 years ago through that. So that stuff, the mRNA is supposed to modify your genetics from being organic into cybernetic, into, again, capable of taking orders, reducing your connection to God. In other words, deactivating further your pineal gland, your third eye, your higher mental faculties, so that you don't have a connection to your higher self. So that's what the Mark of the Beast is. But it gets worse. Eventually the Mark of the Beast is also related to the idea of putting a chip inside of you so that you could interact with the internet or with technology, in other words. And that's where that's where the dark side wants people to do. They want to bring everybody into that era where everyone's controlled by this mind hive technology, which is the same way that they control the Greys. By the way, the Gray aliens are programmed life forms. They don't think for themselves. They're all programmed by a mind hive, which stems or comes from Orion.
All right. Well,
located in Orion.
It's a lot to take in for someone like me who's hearing this for the first time, but definitely some of this stuff I've heard before, but very interesting chat. I appreciate it. I'll let you close this off with whatever you want to say to the fans here as we shut down.
Yes. Always remember that there is no power beyond you, that according to the holistic holographic concept of the universe, you are the universe, and therefore all the answers that you seek are within yourself, and the only way to access that is through some form of meditation of some kind, where you could just quiet your mind and allow your spirit to talk.
Thank you for watching the Hannibal TV. Please like this video if you enjoyed it and click the subscribe button to not miss